There aren't many elite wide receivers in my list because I think the wide receiver is a very dependent position upon the quarterback. I think that if a wide receiver gets a lot of receptions and a lot of yards from his quarterback, that's acknowledgement knowing that he's an elite wide receiver. That's why there aren't as many elite players because only a few can be. And I think in the NFC South, I have three of them, and I already named Mike Evans, and Julio Jones is down the line. But I truly think that Michael Thomas is one of the best wide receivers in the game, and I truly think that even though his position is highly reliant on Drew Brees getting him the ball, I still think he's amazing at his position, and he should be recognized for it. How you guys doing? It is Sunday, July 12th, 2020, here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims. And for right now, I'm going to get into a player that I get to see a lot because I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan. So, of course, they played the Saints twice. So, of course, I know every single player. Not every. I know all the good players on Michael Thomas or on the New Orleans Saints. And for right now, I'm going to talk about Michael Thomas, the wide receiver currently playing for the New Orleans Saints. So if you're unaware of Mike Thomas, he's a 6'3", 200-pound receiver that plays for the Saints. Many argue he's the best receiver that Drew Brees has had on any of his rosters. He's incredible. He has a good body. He has incredible size. He can run routes. He can catch a lot of balls. He's incredibly strong hands. He fits in pretty well. He's not a locker room nuisance. It seems as though the Saints really like him, and he's really been exceeding expectations ever since college. I mean, coming out of Ohio State, people saw him as a good receiver, but they didn't really expect him to really blow up like this. So without further ado, I'll give you a little bit of insights. Coming out of California, good prospect. He was recruited by Urban Meyer to go play at Ohio State. His freshman year, he barely played. He got 22 yards on 3 receptions, basically. And this year, Ohio State was ineligible to play. The very next year, they skipped out on his sophomore year. He didn't play at all. And that year, Ohio State lost in the Orange Bowl to Clemson. The very first year that he played was Ohio State's 2014 season. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, but he played in 2014 after taking his redshirt year. And the year that Ohio State won the championship, he was definitely out there. And the 15 games that he played, he had 54 receptions for 799 yards and 9 touchdowns. And this is while J.T. Barrett, Cardale Jones, this is when that combo was dominating the Big Ten. They're really kind of doing their own thing. But Michael Thomas is a big part of it as Ohio State would make it to the college football playoff. They would beat Alabama in the semifinal, and they would beat Oregon. They would beat Marcus Mariota in the final 42-20. His junior year in 2015 was when he had pretty much the same numbers in less games. In 13 games, he had 56 receptions for 781 yards and 9 touchdowns. So, I mean, at college, he was a good receiver. He was good enough, and he was a good enough prospect to be considered. And he was on the national championship team his sophomore year. So, I mean, of course he's going to do that. So, in the second round of the 2016 NFL draft, the Saints picked him with the 47th overall pick to pair him with Drew Brees and see how see how nice he is. And his first year, he made the all-rookie team in 2016 after having, I'm trying to see what he did. So in his age 23 season, and the 15 games that he played, he finished with 1,137 yards on 92 receptions and 9 touchdowns. And that's his first season. He had 92 receptions for any receiver is an elite year. Considering he did that in his rookie year, it says a lot for how good of a player he was. He was playing with Drew Brees, but he's still that's the lowest amount of receptions he's ever had in a season. His age 24 season was when he made his first Pro Bowl. He finished the season playing all 16 games. He started in 14 of them. He finished with 1,245 yards on 104 receptions. He finished with 5 touchdowns. And this was the year that the Saints won the NFC South. They beat the Panthers in the wild card, and they lost to the Vikings in the divisional round after that miracle of a touchdown pass. Alvin Kamara was the offensive rookie of the year that year. Marshawn Lattimore was the defensive rookie of the year under Sean Payton, but the Saints were really clicking that year. But for some reason, it didn't work out. But in Michael Thomas's second year in the league, he finished with over 100 receptions, over 1,200 yards, and he finished with the Pro Bowl at 24 years old. At 25, he was named a Pro Bowler for the second time. While he was named to the All Pro team. He was named first team All Pro, and he was the receptions, and after leading the league in receptions that year. Of course, he naturally finished with 125 receptions, 1,405 yards with 9 touchdowns. I mean, a lot of times it comes down to how many times your quarterback throws you the ball. But if you look at this, he got open 125 times in which the quarterback threw the ball to him and he completed the catch, which in itself, if you step back and look at this you look at this stat from afar, you see how elite Michael Thomas is. It is Drew Brees, but Michael Thomas is doing this. And then last year, which is why I consider him elite, in his age 26 season, he was a Pro Bowler for the third time. He was named first team All Pro for the second time, and he was named the AP Offensive Player of the Year in his age 26 season after leading the league in receptions with 149 receptions and leading the league in receiving yards with 1,725 receiving yards. Almost 2,000 yards, averaging 107 yards per game. And he leading the league in receptions and yards in and of itself should qualify him as an elite young player. And of course, the year that he won the year that he was All Pro for the first time, the Saints ended up first in the NFC South, where they beat the Eagles in the divisional playoff and lost to the Rams in OT in the NFC Championship. And last year they lost in overtime to the Vikings in the wild card. So, and Michael Thomas was named the Offensive Player of the Year. So, I think when you look at all this, if you look at Michael Thomas right now, look at his career, he's a 26-year-old wide receiver who's been in the league for 3 years and was already named a Pro Bowler 3 of those years, an All-Pro wide receiver for 2 of the 4 years he's been in the league, and he was an AP Offensive Player of the Year as a wide receiver, a position whose production is they get all their production from whether the quarterback throws in the football. So that in and of itself is what qualifies Michael Thomas as an elite level receiver. I feel like he's definitely on the level of a Julio Jones and Antonio Brown, DeAndre Hopkins. The more I think about it, he's a very elite player in his own, and he should be recognized as it. As of now, he's definitely a prime receiver who's in his prime. It seems as though with the numbers he's getting, he's definitely on track to be a Hall of Famer. And as long as he has Drew Brees as his quarterback next season, Mike Thomas, you can still chalk him down for being an elite receiver. You know that he's going to give you a lot of receptions every game. I think yards carry more weight than receptions, but he still led the league in both receiving yards and receptions. So with that, I really appreciate you for listening to all 9 minutes of this. But it's also good to know that this is a prime receiver who could make the Hall of Fame, and he does have a Hall of Fame quarterback throwing him the football. And whenever he plays, he makes he's been playing for a playoff contender every single year he's been there. The least receptions he's had in a season was 92. So it's there's not much more I can say about what makes Michael Thomas Michael Thomas. So yeah, I appreciate you if you actually listen to this whole thing. If you ever get a chance to look for my boy Michael Thomas. He wears number 13 while playing wide receiver for the New Orleans Saints. And with that, I wish you all the best. I'm just going to log off by saying peace.